So here's what happens. People are doing punch and roll. If they're new to it, they sometimes set their cursor really close to their existing audio. Usually you want to leave just a fraction of a second, but if they set it too close when they're listening back in their headphones or they're listening back on their monitors, then what will happen is as it's going just before it gets to where they're going to start talking, it cuts out a fraction of a second before. And I've known this for a couple of years, and I knew it was related to feedback. If the monitors are on up until the absolute last microsecond, you can get some feedback in your microphone, especially because I have set it up, and you should too. Under the options advanced here, when we're in the audio, we almost always want pre-record audio input set to 2 seconds or more, but I like 2 seconds. You can do more if you want. And oh, you can't see that. Hold it, watch. Let me switch this. Monitor plus webcam. So let me do that again. And Ray, hey, hopefully you guys can hear me this time. Last time it was distorted. Let me know that you can hear something. But the point is this. So I have the pre-record set here under the options to 2 seconds. So that means the microphone is on before our official punch-in point. And when that happens, the microphone is going to be listening. And if my monitors are on, then it's going to feed back. Now, most people use headphones. It's not an issue. But if you use headphones and you set your cursor really close to your existing audio, then it sounds like it cuts out early, and it does it for a reason. But I'm going to show you. You'll know exactly. You can compensate for it. It's actually a killer smart feature, really well thought through. And so I'm really happy they do it this way, but it does, if somebody comes from other software, they don't realize. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to turn on a tone generator here, and turn that on, and then go ahead, and I'm going to record something. You're not going to hear it. I don't have, oh, well, here's what it would sound like. That's the tone that's being done, but I turned it off so you don't have to hear it while it's recording. It's going to record that. It's recording that tone for us right now, and it's putting in 5 seconds, 10 seconds here. So now we're going to have 10 seconds worth of that tone. All right, now here it is, so you can actually hear it. There's that tone, okay? And actually, I'm going to turn the tone generator and turn that off so that that's not playing anymore. So, and by the way, I started with empty songs so that I would have something that is totally clean. There are no effects on anything. I should just show you that real quick. I have no inserts, no effects. The only thing I had is this tone generator so that we can see this totally pure, and then we can go ahead and use it for the real world situation there. And thanks, Ray. I appreciate knowing that the sound is better now. So I have snap to grid turned on, because for this example, we want to set our cursor right exactly at the 5 second mark. And what we're going to do is I've changed my punch and roll. Normally I use 3-4 seconds. I set it down to 2 seconds for this example. So some of the stuff I do change during the demos. People will see me doing something and they'll think, oh, that's how I should do it. Well, maybe. Most of the time that's right, but sometimes I'll change it. For example, this is shorter than I would use, so you don't have to listen to it, but watch this. I'm going to start recording right here. My microphone is on. And there we're now recording as usual. So it starts right officially at the 5 second mark. We were dead on there, as we would expect, no matter how much I drill down. You can see it also put in a nice crossfade for us. It's doing us a favor there to make sure we transition between old audio and new audio very cleanly. So that works great. But if I peel back this audio here, take the crossfade, remember I have 2 seconds of pre-record here that was occurring. In other words, the microphone, even though my official start point is here at the 5 second mark, you can see this tone here, and it's quieter, but it was playing out my monitors. I have my monitors on for this example. And then it was going ahead and switching over. And of course, I have my official punch point here at the 5 second mark. And what you'll notice is, here's the tone. And it stops right here. Let me turn off. So watch this. Here's the official 5 second mark. Right from here to here happens to be approximately 0.18 seconds. So we're going to say less than 0.2 of a second where it shut off the monitor before the official point that I set it to start. So we set it at 5 seconds. It's at 0.18 seconds before that, it turned off the monitor. Well, if somebody's new to this, what they do is they set their cursor. Well, wait, watch this. Hold on. Let me before I do that, show you what this looks like in the real world. So that's that much. I'm going to go ahead and make it its own event. Let's color it. Let's make it red, bright red. Hey, there's an even brighter red maybe. What's that? Ah, that's pinkish. We'll do red. So now we have red. Now I'm pretty zoomed in. So look at how much it is in the real world. The monitor is turning off right there in that red zone before it starts. That's less than 0.2 of a second. And so it's a very small amount, but it allows us later when if somebody goes ahead and they jump the gun, and you'll see newer people will do that occasionally. They will actually start too early, and this allows them to peel it back, and they still have good, clean, super audio, can catch the beginning of a breath. They can adjust that point forward or backwards, but it's a very small point. So if you're doing punch and roll right anyway, it doesn't matter, because if my punch point is going to be approximately here anyway, it's going to be right after this. And the reason is words, if I'm totally zoomed out, the word doesn't always end right where it appears to end there. It depends on how I have my display set. And you can see as I zoom in there, the word actually goes a little farther than it appears if I'm zoomed all the way out visually. Look at that. It looks like it ends there. It doesn't. I mean, nobody hears, people don't really hear that. So, one, I do have a tendency to be a little bit zoomed in here. And then two, you don't need to be quite so hyper close to that. 0.2 of a second is not a big deal. And then the last thing is, I'm always talking along with myself anyway here. So it doesn't matter when it turns off. It could have turned off even earlier, but this is a brilliant, smart feature that's there for us. And if you're talking with yourself anyway, the way you should be if you're doing good quality punch and roll, you're not paying attention to that. You're into your script and you're talking along with this section here. It turns off that fraction of a second before, but that gives you a benefit later, because if I'm punching in right here, and I do this, we're now recording as usual. And I talk through it, and then it allows me to go ahead and move this point, and I've got a little bit of wiggle room. You can actually see it coming out of my speakers, this right in here. This was the playback, and I don't want that in my new audio, especially if I decide, ooh, I started a little early, a little late, and I want to move it back. I've got a little bit of wiggle room there, which just makes life easier. So people don't know that at first. It confuses them sometimes. And then, why did I use the tone generator? I didn't need to use it. So Heather asked, so hi, Heather. And yeah, oh yes, I'm just using it for the example. And the reason is, by using that tone generator as an example, then it just makes it brain dead easy to see exactly the start point where the tone generator is. It's just a nice big block, because otherwise, nobody can tell exactly where one thing starts and one thing ends. So yeah, that's the only reason the tone. So the bottom line is, and Ray's saying he sets this as close as he can to the previous. So I set it as close as practical, but there's a difference between being as close as practical and being too close. Some people are setting it too close, especially when they're zoomed. It depends on their zoom level, to be honest with you. If they're zoomed at a certain level, they don't realize how close they are. And the difference is there to there. We're really talking a tiny fraction anyway. So I have seen people get too close. And with experience, someone like Ray, who's recorded thousands of hours, then he's going to know where that is. Plus, he's talking, so he doesn't care. I mean, you could snuggle up. I do like it close here. I just don't like it too close. There's like most things in life, there's this balance. You're shooting for something, but you can overdo that. Some is good and too much is too much. Okay. So I hope that helps people right now. That little tone generator, is only there for example purposes. Matter of fact, I had never recorded with it before. So it was a new experience for me there. So I hope this helps some people. You're going to make sure that when it's shutting off, don't worry about it. It's a feature. It will help you. Most of the time, it makes no difference. And a few times, it allows you to go ahead and peel back and get some really clean beginning if you happen to start too early. And if you're really starting too early, you have one of two things. You're new enough to it that your timing isn't the way it will be. That happens. Or you are legitimately getting too close. Usually that's not the case. If you're talking along with yourself, you won't hear it. You don't care. It doesn't matter. And tens of thousands of hours are recorded like this. It works great. So let me make sure I'm going to check my questions here on my other screen. So I agree with Ray and Troy. Yep, we'll see you whenever you do it. Yeah, that tone's pretty loud. Yeah, it is. So it's just there. Sorry. Okay. I won't keep playing the tone. I could take the tone and go, you know. All right. There, the tone is not so loud. Okay. I should have done that probably. I guess I just wanted a big solid block so that everybody could see exactly what was happening visually. And I always knew there was this, hey, it turns off a fraction of a second. It's 0.18 seconds. Exactly. I measured it now enough times to know that's exactly what it is. Less than 0.2 of a second. And it's really smart the way they did that. All right. I hope you guys have a fantastic day and a great weekend. This one's going to be up on YouTube today. And if you have questions, comments, other things, see you in the group. And of course, I always look forward to seeing you on the wires. You have a great day. Bye.